On fans forum responses. Go ahead.
All right. So we got some really good comments here that come in on the YouTube channel. And this is from R. Suryop. And this is about, Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani is just tremendous in the WBC. And he says, it feels so strange seeing such a grand series like this being played so early in the year. I almost feel like the MLB regular season should be played first in its entirety before we get to the WBC played out. It's like having dessert first before having the main course. You know what I'm saying?
I don't have any problem with having lemon sherbet before I eat my Italian dinner, but no, you're correct. They've just at this point yet to configure the proper place on the schedule. Spring training, your pitchers are not ready. So therefore, you don't have all the all-star arms. If you did it in November, you're at the end of the season. The season is an enormous grind. Do players want to ratchet it up in November post-World Series? Now, your pitchers would be available. Do the players want to grind through another 2 weeks in the WBC? Big debate. I still maintain this. Middle of the All-Star game, make it a 9-day break. Take all the teams, merge them together. Give me Team USA. Give me Mexico and Canada. Give me a Latin America team with the Dominican, Puerto Rico, maybe Venezuela, Colombia. Give me a Pacific Rim, Japan, Korea, Taiwan. If you did that, I think that would be electric, and you could plan it because you get all your pitchers would be in midseason form. You could get the best of the arms to join their respective country teams. You could have yourself a superb, quick round robin in the middle of the All-Star break and then play the All-Star game on Sunday night, which is a magnificent event just to watch. And if you get to see it in person, it's cool. I still maintain this is the best place to plan it. And baseball, based on the TV ratings, has now discovered, wow, this WBC has become a really 5-star event. We'll put the 5-star event in the middle of the season, and I'll tell you, all the other teams and the players that don't get to go to the All-Star game, maybe some of them go to the WBC, they'll enjoy having 5 to 9 days away from the grind of Major League Baseball. So that's my theory there.
Yeah, I like that idea. I mean, a lot of the European soccer leagues do the same thing where they take a break in the middle of the season, have a tournament. And I think the middle of the season is right because, they did it here in the spring. And a lot of these pitchers were on innings limits. I mean, frankly, the pitching staff for the American team was not as good as it could have been. There was a lot of guys that were sort of middle of the road pitchers that they were leaning on. But I like that middle of the year format. You can't do it at the end. I mean, because everyone's checked out. They're on vacation. Their arms are tired. But I would say keep the individual nations together. Don't merge teams. And if that means it's a 9-day All-Star break, it turns into a 14 or a 20 game break, that's fine with me because I think the league can still make money. The stadiums can still be full. And a lot of players are going to be still getting a lot of rest, and people are going to be at mid-season form in the WBC.
I agree. Move on. Next question, please.
All right, let's moving on. This is a great comment. This is about the Andrew Tolles topic, and it was comments from Alejandro Haro. He says, Lee, thank you for sharing this important discussion regarding mental health on your show. As someone who works with these people, it is okay to ask for help and know they will be listened to and given proper care.
I wholeheartedly agree, and that's why we touched on the subject a week ago, and credit to the Dodgers for what they're doing on behalf of Andrew Tolles, who's going through a very, very bad time. Mental illness at all different levels is out there, whether that is depression, whether that is bipolar, whether it's got to do with substance abuse, it triggers other things. These players are one phone call away on the 1-800 number from getting help. There should not be a stigma any longer about anybody that steps up and says, help me, I'm having difficulty. Because they're a valued commodity in their industry. They're a baseball player. But the player has to make that move that I need this help. We've seen it in the NBA with Kevin Love of the Cleveland Cavaliers. We saw it in the National Football League with Chris Long, had a really good career with the Rams and the Eagles. We've seen it in the National Hockey League. Hopefully, other players who have fought through depression. And sometimes all it is sitting with a counselor and expressing what bothers you and getting feedback. Sometimes it's much deeper than that as it relates to psychiatric help, whether that's incarceration, whether that's help with meds, etc. You can solve this. So I think what the story just leaked out about what the Dodgers do and Andrew Tolles, there's probably more players like that that need help. They need to step forward. The clubs need to help them along the way, and the union will help them because they represent the individual client. Good comment. Next question.
All right, moving on. Let's take a look here. This is again about Shohei Ohtani from Lydio Conception. She says, I am a certified LA Angels fan now since I saw Ohtani and Trout and following every game they played.
Well, Ohtani is one of the most unique individuals we've ever seen in Major League Baseball. And we talked last week about his regimen, what he has to do every day as a DH, what he has to do every day in between his starts. You know, I need a 36-hour workday to do all the stuff that I do. He needs a 36-hour workday to be able to accomplish everything he does. And baseball is such a 6-month grind, and he's doing this every day, whether it's in the cage getting ready to be a designated hitter, whether it's studying pitchers on video, or what he's doing throwing bullpens before he gets ready for the next start, and studying the metrics and the scouting reports and that batting order, his pitching. He is just a really unique individual. So I am hoping this franchise can rally back, because they sure have spent a lot of money and they've had a lot of bad luck with bad injuries and 2 terrible pitching tragedies with deaths. I would hope that this is a breakthrough season. And he's a unique guy. I don't know where his mind is at because he won't talk about it. I think he could be a really loyal guy to the Halos if the Halos finally have a good season and all the draft picks start to arrive and play. 2 years ago, they drafted 21 pitchers. They had 21 draft picks. All of them were pitchers trying to fix what's wrong with the farm system. So, but what a spectacular human being. And, Babe Ruth was 1,000 years ago, and all we have is the grainy videos. But you think of what Ruth did as a pitcher and then as a star slugger with the Red Sox and Yankees before he just became a home run hitter. Well, Tani's doing that. He's doing that as an everyday player. And I'll tell you, the grind in baseball today is so radically different than the grind back when Babe Ruth started. So what a spectacular individual. And the pressure points of what's level of expectation here in the States, think about the pressure points in Tokyo and in Japan. I mean, because he's more famous and he's more popular than the prime minister or the president.
Yeah. So, I mean, Ohtani, we saw him on the world stage in the WBC, and we got to see his greatness. I mean, we've been seeing it here in MLB. The Japanese have known about him forever, but the world is really understanding what Shohei Ohtani is about. The Angels should be a really fun team to root for. If they just get a little bit of good luck going their way, I mean, it could be like a Disney sort of fascinating ending for these guys. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that are going to jump on board here as Angels fans.
Yeah. Showtime Shohei. Oh my goodness. What a great individual. You got a couple more here?
I do here. And this is a good one from about the Padres, about the injuries. And this is from RAYMUNDO Torres. He says, excellent update, Hacksaw. Very reliable as always. You broke down the injuries, I think, in our last podcast.
Well, they're really nicked up right now, but it's not red flag, red lights. We're in real trouble, nicked up. It's not rotator cuffs. It's not elbow surgery. It's shoulder joint inflammation. It's elbow inflammation. You can calm that stuff down. It does take time to rebuild your arm strength once you've been dry docked for 2 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever it may be. But they're deep. Back when we started, we did a Cactus League preview about a month ago as camps were opening, John, and I remember I threw up the numbers. Padres had 9 potential starters with experience. They had 9 guys to come out of the bullpen with experience. Well, some of those numbers obviously have broken away because of the injuries or career ending, maybe to Craig Stammen, et cetera. But as long as you don't have anything catastrophic, season-ending elbow surgery, forearm surgery, shoulder surgery, they're going to be there. And the bats, they got bats and they got arms. Like I say, 100 wins.
Yeah. Do you think major league players are prone to have injuries in March because of it was the off season? No. They're not in their regular form. And is that why we're seeing these injuries, or are they just random?
You're out in left field all the time drinking coffee. These guys train 11 months of the year. They come to spring training and they're really in shape. Now, the pitchers come to spring training and have to build pitch counts and arm strength, but everybody comes to spring training. The reason why guys break down, notably pitchers, is we have everybody doing off-season weight training. These guys train all the time. Everybody does legal supplements now. You have a bigger body, more physical. For pitchers, bigger body, more physical, more fast balls,
Mm.
more violent breaking sliders, whatever you want to call it. And then what you've got is more physical force because they're bigger and they throw harder and there's violent snap action. The only thing doesn't change, your ligaments.
Mm.
Your ligaments don't change. And because you're snapping pitches off at such a violent force, you're putting more stress here, and that's why things can break down. I would bet if you go through every pitching staff in baseball, I bet there's probably at least 5 guys on a per pitching staff that have had some form of elbow surgery. But Tommy John, sports medicine is phenomenal.
Mhm.
It takes you 12 to 18 months to come back. When you come back, you're good as new. And in many cases, you come back and you're stronger here now than you ever were before. But these guys, they're not out in left field with you in the offseason drinking coffee or beer. They are doing weight training and throwing, not the regimen you throw with during the regular season, but they're ready to go and then just have to build it up. But some of them have breakdowns, some of them have flare-ups, some of them have setbacks. But sports medicine is so spectacular right now.
I mean, think about back, just roll the clock back 30 years ago. There were very few pitchers that threw 100 miles an hour. And now there's a whole bunch of them, including Hunter Green. We were talking about him with the Cincinnati Reds. So these guys, like to your point, they train, they're so much stronger that, it's like you say, it's just the force, the torque. It's no wonder they're having all these arm troubles. But then you see an injury like Rhys Hoskins, with the Phillies. That was just sort of a freak thing. Wasn't
Same
it?
thing with Gavin Lux to the Dodgers. Made a move to field a ground
Yeah.
ball, and Hoskins' knee buckles because the spike's caught in the dirt. Gavin Lux running between second and third, ducks to not get hit by a batted ball.
Mhm.
Knee buckles, cleats caught, torn ligament. Those are fluke baseball injuries.
Yeah, they are. But this is spring training, but now it's opening day and we're fired up. We're ready to go.
Okay. Hey, listen, we appreciate